There's no need to speculate because my speculation will be as good as your speculation. But what I can tell you is that I understand the logic. You know, people are facing primaries, people are lobbying and all that and all that. So some people are strong, some are worried. That is not important. If majority makes a decision, provided that decision does not conflict with the Constitution, I don't care. So it's not about whether I think my motion could have scaled to or otherwise. No. But Nigeria, the beauty of democracy, why that section 70 is inserted, is that when they say aye, nays, you can't hold your senator responsible for it. You say I wasn't one of them. I want Nigeria to say who are those senators who are trying to narrow future leadership to themselves as if it's a family or traditional rulership. And for me, that is not it. Now, let me say why this thing has serious moral crisis. The Senate president became minority leader on his first day in office. On his first day, when they swore in, on his first term, when he got into the Senate, I think in the ninth or eighth Senate, right? He became a principal officer, minority leader. He's not the one presiding and asking us to change those rules such that even somebody who had done one term, particularly if you came to the court, you can't even be. Number two, as we speak today, the Senate president has not done 8 years in office. Even if you count the previous one plus the current one, it's not yet up to 8 years. So if we pass the rules that you must do 8 consecutive years before you can be Senate president, it means he has to lead by example by vacating. Because he's presiding without acquiring the appropriate qualification. But more offensive to me is that as leaders who are product of ballot, we mustn't make laws to perpetuate anyone. Senator David Mark had the honor and privilege of serving as Senate president for 8 years, not by playing with the rules. Those rules that enabled David Mark to preside for 8 years, what is wrong with them? Those rules that enabled this Senate president to contest for Senate presidency, what is wrong with them? Why changing it now? Because you think that next time, because last time, this rule of what term, ranking, that's what you require. And it turned out to be the only one from the South, where it was zone 2. So now he feared that more senators will be eligible, which will broaden the competitive base. And now he wants to shrunk it. If other people are afraid, I'm not afraid. I am only afraid of my creator. Because I've seen whether you tell the lie, you tell the truth, the date of death, you can't adjust it either forward or backward. That is my life experience.
The recession, does it help you?
It's not about me. First, let me say the whole kernel of today's recession is that he's saying we shouldn't make rules that are in violation of the Nigeria Constitution. Because even law, if it violates the Constitution, you legislate in vain. Or the act become invalid to the extent of the contradiction. Now, go and look at, I think it's section 52 of the Constitution as to how you can become a Senate president or deputy Senate president. It simply says, upon proclamation, senators elect shall meet, and the clerk of the National Assembly will conduct the election into the office of Senate President and Deputy Senate President. That is the Nigeria Constitution. So you cannot make rules, but you can involve a culture, say, okay, maybe we need an experienced person. But even at that level, I will say, if he has enough experience to be a minority leader without previous one-day legislative experience, if he has the experience to be elected as Senate President after just 4 years, and he will tell you he's presiding well, and we have also said he's presiding well, why does he think that 4 years is no longer enough? That you must do 8 consecutive years. The other one that is extremely provocative, is to say that even people who have been in the Senate before, who are even senior to the Senate president in terms of ranking, they done 2 terms and they left. Either they were voted out, or they contested for executive position, or they were appointed as minister like himself. When they now come back, they are not considered as ranking. Here, if you want me to speculate, because I had the question you asked this other guy, is that he's looking at, for example, if the former deputy Senate president was to win election in Delta, Senator Omagege, because he is not in this session, in the 10th Assembly, he will not be eligible. What is special about being in the 10th Assembly? Then, even David Mark, if he was to be, even after all his previous, because he's not the 10th Assembly, he will not be eligible. What is special about the 10th Assembly? Then Okowa, a former senator before he became governor, if he decides to contest, and I hear he's contesting, if he wins and he chooses to vie for the presidency of the Senate, what the leadership of the Senate was trying to do was to use these dubious, I use the word dubious cautiously, intervention in the rules to disqualify them. Why are you afraid? Hope Uzodinma is the one the newspaper seems to focus on. But because you don't know the whole ramification of the law. Now, tell me why you will say, as journalists, for example, that if you were editor 4 years ago, and you left to go and do, maybe, just as an example, to go and do PhD. So you left broadcasting, or even to do some other things. And then you come back, then you apply for a job, and they're looking at your CV, and you proudly say, I was editor of Channels Television or Arise TV. I was actually reporting from the National Assembly. They will say, oh, those past experience doesn't matter. Once you have left for you, and you are coming back. Who does that? Those should count in your favor, not against you.
Will you still come back with emotion?
Pardon?
Will you still come back with emotion?
First, I'm happy that on their own today, they have revised based on the provision of the Constitution. But only in part. There is still substantial debts that are illegal and that is completely at variance with the provisions of the Nigeria Constitution, which we are not at liberty to amend.
So
Do you feel shortchanged yourself?
No, it's not about me. Don't restrict it to me.
I know.
I ever told you I'm contesting for office. What I am contested for is the president is the seat to represent the people of Edo North. Any other thing is not my right. It's a privilege that can only be conferred by fellow colleagues.
Thank you, sir.
And lastly, I respect ranking, but the Constitution of Nigeria does not put weight. And no matter what you want to think of yourself, it is only to the extent that it's in conformity with the express provision of the Nigeria Constitution. So all of these things will not matter. Best example, when some people supported him, and I was one of those who supported him. Ironically, I was one of those who supported him, even as a first-timer, against Senator Yari. They interpreted that Yari's first term was in the House of Rep, and therefore he's not ranking. Okay? But ranking contested that election. If he got majority, he would have won, because whatever they were saying is inferior in the face of the extra provisions of the Nigeria Constitution. I just think that you, the media, that is how Africans become live presidents.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
You know, when you see that of Cameroon, you see Uganda, that is how they start. So we cannot. If people choose to keep quiet, me, I will talk.
Thank you, sir.